outrageous.
She said the Commonwealth's attorney, that's you, chose not to prosecute Mr. Morales-Ortiz on December 16th, and they had to release him. They had to do their job because you wouldn't prosecute. What happened on December 17th, Mr. Descano?
Stop the scroll right now. You are watching Congressman Jim Jordan completely obliterate a district attorney on Capitol Hill, exposing how his reckless policies directly led to a brutal murder. You have to see this to believe it.
No, that's the question. What happened on December 7th? This same guy murdered somebody. This guy murdered somebody, and I'm asking you, why did you change your website?
Well, do you not want me to talk to you about the actual case?
I want you to answer the first question I said.
Which was about the case.
Why did you change your website?
Well, sir, because the website is not my policy. My policy, you are referring to a campaign.
I think the voters might be interested in that. This is your campaign website where you said, our office will take immigration consequences into account when making charging and plea decisions. Immigration consequences were certainly part of the game here, part of the issue here with Mr. Morales-Ortiz.
No, they weren't.
You decided
they absolutely
not to
were not.
Wait, did you catch the sheer panic in the district attorney's voice? Jim Jordan absolutely corners him with the undeniable facts. The DA's office intentionally chose not to prosecute a violent criminal, forcing his release. And what happened the very next day? That exact same criminal murdered an innocent woman. And what was the DA's first priority after the murder made national headlines? He literally scrubbed his campaign website to hide his soft-on-crime policies. It is a stunning admission of guilt. He knows exactly what he did. Instead of taking accountability for essentially allowing a murderer back onto the streets, he tries to play these pathetic political word games, claiming there is a difference between a campaign statement and an actual office policy. It is a total slap in the face to the victims. This is exactly what happens when you elect activist prosecutors who care more about protecting criminals from the consequences of their actions than protecting innocent American citizens from violent predators. The system is completely broken.
Raped an underage person, an illegal alien who raped an underage American. Your office reduced those charges to a misdemeanor charge of consensual sex with a child 15 years and older. You offered him a 90-day suspended jail sentence. Is that correct?
Sir, based on the evidence that we had in the case?
Look at how Representative Gill methodically exposes the sheer depravity of this DA's office. This isn't just about a minor administrative error. An illegal alien was arrested for the heinous rape of a 13 to 14-year-old American child. And how did the district attorney handle it? His office intentionally downgraded the charge to a simple misdemeanor and offered the predator a completely suspended 90-day sentence. That means the criminal didn't spend a single day in jail for one of the most horrific crimes imaginable. And when confronted with these irrefutable facts, the DA just sits there and casually confirms it. The level of corruption here is almost impossible to comprehend. When a justice system actively works to protect and shield violent child predators, it is completely failing in its most fundamental duty. These aren't just misguided policies. They are actively putting the most vulnerable members of our society in direct, lethal danger every single day. This DA shouldn't just be fired, he should be criminally investigated for his complete dereliction of duty.
Ms. Minter, I am deeply sorry for your loss. And I say that not only as a prosecutor, but as a parent of a daughter. I am sorry for what you are having to endure. And I promise that my office is doing everything we can to prosecute the man responsible.
Pay close attention to this incredibly heartbreaking moment. This is a mother testifying on Capitol Hill about the brutal murder of her daughter, Stephanie. And she has to sit right next to the very district attorney whose policies allowed the killer to walk free. The DA offers this hollow, rehearsed apology, claiming he is deeply sorry as a parent. But an apology doesn't bring her daughter back, and it certainly doesn't excuse the gross negligence that led to the tragedy in the first place. This is the tragic human cost of the political games they are playing. The politicians love to sit in their ivory towers and debate the nuances of sanctuary city policies, but this mother has to live with the devastating, real-world consequences every single day. When the justice system prioritizes the comfort of illegal, violent offenders over the safety of American families, this is the inevitable result. It is a completely avoidable tragedy, and the people responsible for these fatal policies need to be held fully accountable.
These numbers. Turns out 8% of the people on the county's electronic monitoring program are unaccounted for. This matters because, as we've been reporting, warrants are issued for these people's arrest because they're trying to evade justice. The man accused of shooting and killing Chicago police officer John Bartholomew was one of those people before he was taken into custody and charged.
Now, let's shift gears to Illinois, because the systemic failure doesn't stop in Virginia. Listen to this staggering report out of Cook County. They have a massive electronic monitoring program designed to let accused criminals out of jail before their trial. But here is the terrifying reality. 8% of the entire program is completely missing. That is hundreds of accused felons roaming the streets with absolutely zero oversight. And the consequences are completely fatal. The reporter specifically points out that one of these missing individuals, who was supposed to be monitored, ended up shooting and killing a Chicago police officer and severely wounding his partner. This isn't just a glitch in the system. It is a catastrophic collapse of public safety. The judges who are releasing these violent offenders know perfectly well that the ankle monitoring system is a complete joke. They are basically handing criminals a hall pass to go commit more violence, and innocent people, including law enforcement officers, are literally dying because of it. It is absolute madness.
The sheriff said, you wouldn't prosecute, this guy gets released, kills someone the next day. We start asking about it. You change your website and take down the statements that say you're going to take into account immigration consequences when you decide what you are going to charge.
And it has been public the entire time I've been in office.
Watch Jim Jordan completely expose the DA's blatant hypocrisy right here. The DA tries to claim that his radical policies regarding immigration consequences have been public the entire time he's been in office. But Jordan points out the obvious timeline. The DA explicitly stated on his campaign website that he would protect illegal aliens from deportation. But the exact second Congress starts investigating a murder linked to those policies, he magically deletes the website. It is the ultimate cover-up. He knows his policies are completely indefensible, so he tries to hide the evidence. It is incredibly satisfying to see a politician actually get grilled and held accountable on national television. For far too long, these activist prosecutors have operated in the shadows, quietly implementing incredibly dangerous policies without any real oversight. But now the spotlight is firmly on them, and they are completely crumbling under the pressure. The American people are finally waking up to exactly how the justice system has been hijacked, and they are demanding real answers and real accountability.
A handful of illegal aliens have already been arrested for multiple murders so far this year in Fairfax County. That includes Abdul Jallo, an illegal alien accused of randomly stabbing Stephanie Minter to death at a Virginia bus stop. Jallo had more than 24 prior arrests. DA Descano had dropped multiple of his prior charges, and there was zero cooperation.
Look at this graphic detailing the absolute failure of the system in Fairfax County. We are talking about a handful of illegal aliens who have already been arrested for multiple murders just this year alone. But focus on the case of Abdul Jallo. This wasn't his first run-in with the law. He had more than 24 prior arrests. Over 24 times he was brought into the system, and over 24 times the DA's office either dropped the charges or refused to cooperate with ICE. And the final tragic result was the random, brutal stabbing of Stephanie Minter at a bus stop. This is a textbook example of a completely preventable crime. The authorities had countless opportunities to remove this violent predator from the community, but they actively chose to protect him instead. It is a stunning indictment of the entire sanctuary city ideology. When you deliberately ignore the law and refuse to deport repeat offenders, you are actively choosing to put your own citizens in the crosshairs. The blood is entirely on their hands.
Prosecutors allege that Alfonso Talley, a felon with 4 pending felony cases who escaped electronic monitoring in April, shot those officers. And at that time, the Cook County State's attorney blasting the program.
Electronic monitoring system is broken. It does not work.
Listen to the sheer frustration from the state's attorney regarding the electronic monitoring system in Chicago. She flat out admits that the system is completely broken and simply does not work. This comes right after the devastating details of the police officer's murder. The shooter, Alfonso Talley, was a known felon with 4 pending felony cases. He should never have been on the street in the first place. But the judge released him on an ankle monitor, which he predictably escaped from, leading directly to a horrific crime spree. The political establishment wants to pretend that ankle monitors are a viable, compassionate alternative to jail, but the reality is that the criminals just view them as a mild inconvenience. They know there are no real consequences for cutting them off. When you have top prosecutors openly admitting that the entire pretrial release program is a massive, fatal failure, you have to ask yourself why the judges keep doubling down on these disastrous policies. They are completely sacrificing public safety for the sake of radical political ideology.
Police say on April 25th, he went on a crime spree that ended with a mother of 3, pistol whip with a broken nose, 1 police officer dead, another fighting for his life. 3,048 people were released pre-trial on electronic monitoring. Almost 20% of them are charged with violent crimes, 7% aggravated battery, 4% criminal sexual assault.
Just look at this massive wall of mugshots. These are the faces of the absolute failure of the Cook County justice system. We are looking at a system where 3,000 people are released on electronic monitoring and almost 20% of them are charged with violent crimes. You have people charged with aggravated battery, criminal sexual assault, and even murder just walking around the streets with a plastic bracelet on their ankle. And the most terrifying part? Almost 250 of them are completely missing. The system has completely lost track of accused murderers and rapists. It is a level of incompetence that is almost hard to comprehend. The judges and the politicians who champion these bail reform initiatives always try to sell it as a matter of fairness and equity. But there is absolutely nothing fair about unleashing a wave of violent, untraceable criminals back into the neighborhoods of law-abiding citizens. They have essentially turned the entire city into a massive, uncontrolled social experiment, and the residents are paying the ultimate price. If you are tired of the mainstream media ignoring these massive political scandals, make sure you hit that subscribe button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.